SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome. The wait is over.
Let's get this thing started.
Go!
Hello, everyone. We are live for episode 93 of the In or Out Sports Debate. I am your host, Drew Willingham, along with this week's special returning panelist. I can't think of any other greater introductions than what I've done previously. It's hard to top it each time because each time it's just so hard to do it, but I have tried this time. This man, myth, and legend is one of the hosts for the three-point conversion, bringing his content to life to the student of the game. A man who writes for the Black and Gold Banneret and is becoming a growing mentor to myself. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the man, myth, and legend again, Kyle Nash.
Honor, joy, and privilege, Drew Willingham. Great to be here. And like I say every time on here, who wins in In and Out Sports Debate? Is it Drew? Is it the guest? No. The answer is America. Drew Willingham, welcome back to SIRTOBA Media's In or Out Sports Debate. I'm glad to be here, man. Let's kick it off.
Man, we've got a great show of content. We got some faces right below us, and especially one of a man crying, because could this come to fruition, this statement that we're going to have here in a little bit, or will he be crying like down here at the bottom of the graphic? We shall see. But we've got 5 great topics for tonight to get into, and we're going to start it off with a little bit of NFL action here in round 1.
Round 1.
And here with round 1, the July 20th meeting between all 32 teams. And all 32 owners will produce a positive outcome for the Washington Commanders. Kyle, how do you feel about this one at hand? Are you in or are you out on this topic?
Oh, I hope you're ready to swim in this heat, because I am in there like swimwear. Listen, I don't need to wax too poetically about your Washington Red Tails. Sorry, Willingham. But now I get to say that more often to try to will a name change into an existence. But you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't need to tell you or anybody else that at this point in time, anything that gets Dan Snyder out of the owner's box at this point for this organization isn't just a good move for the team, it's a good move for the league. They're trying to put all that behind him, and I don't care where you actually fall on the quote politics of the name change. It's much bigger than that, with all the conduct unbecoming in and out of the organization, mostly within it and towards its front office and higher echelons and all of that. All the dirt that has come to pass. I have straight up seen some of your fellow Washington football fans, Drew, leave the team. I know one personally, it's cheering for the Dolphins now because you trade one set of disappointment for another on the football field. I don't know. Anyway, all the above jokingly to say this. Obviously, it's a big positive step. Not to mention, I've had many conversations regarding situations with coaches of color, whether it be with Eric Bieniemy, whether it be in other spaces like with Terrell Buckley and the XFL Guardians, or any of that in general. The key to that, in the eyes of many, has been minority ownership getting involved. And Josh Harris's group has that in Urban Magic Johnson's involvement. Eric Bieniemy's already in the building. Chances are he'll get that first head coaching gig here very shortly. One has to think that that's at least the distance possibility on the board, if you will, Drew Willingham. Listen, I could go on a wax poetic and give you more philosophy in my answer, but at the end of the day, I think you have just as much, if not more, to contribute. And my answer is pretty damn simple.
Definitely is, but definitely you hit the great points within that topic. And I got to agree with this on you as well. I'm into I mean, when you think about the complaints throughout the NFL throughout the years since Dan Snyder took over at 99, of how bad of an owner that he is, and that's before we even knew about the toxicity within that building and within that franchise that he was displaying. And I don't even have to bring all that up because you all know what it led to. The name change, of course, we saw during the pandemic and everything that we've got us all to this point. You need a 75%, 75% across the board of everyone to vote for approval on this. I think for the first time, we may see a 100% approval rate when it comes to a sale, because it's there. In a lot of cases, there is like that. There's that one guy, that one person that votes against, and then you have like a 98.9% in favor. I have a feeling, unless it's Jerry Jones is going to be the one that says no because that's his boy or whatever, I have a feeling that we may have a 100% approval rate when it comes to this meeting here in July. And I'm counting the days. I'm looking forward to it. And if you check out my article on MBS Media, you could see for the first article that I wrote in quite some time, it was about this exact topic right here. It was about exactly. Yes, you can. It's not in the description below, but go to my private page or even hit me up privately. I will put it in there. Maybe at the commercial break, I will post the link in the chat below. So we'll see that here in a minute. But anyway, in the article, I described basically, what was led to this point. We had, Josh Harrison group with Magic Johnson basically right here at the forefront trying to get this team. They're very hopeful they can get the team. Everything's set in place. It has already gone through the proper chain to where now all it has to do is be approved. And honestly, I thought it took a little bit longer to get to this point, because in a lot of cases, we see the sale go through, and then very shortly, everything's been approved. We've talked about this for like 6 months now, feels like a half a year. And we're just now getting to the approval point, and we are just outside of training camp. So I just have a feeling that everybody's tired of this, and we want to have 100% approval and just get past it and get ready for a new change, hopefully a new home and a new energy within this franchise, because just the doom and gloom that what has been felt throughout, you can feel it on the media side, even when you're in there. And I can attest to that from being on that part of the side as well. So I just hope that this brings a great change, a complete 180 change of energy within that franchise, because everybody involved who puts in the hard work deserves it.
Oh yeah, no, I couldn't put any better than that for sure. The only thing I would add, Drew, is in your scenario, I will double up that your 100% voting may happen, because I'm not counting abstentions as a no. So if Jerry Jones abstains, no, that counts.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens there on July 20th. Guys, let us know here in the comments how you feel about that when it comes to the NFL meeting on the Washington Commanders sale. I changed things up for this show because I want to see just how it feels. And before we go into round two, let's go ahead and take a look at the In-N-Out Sports Debate's Vault of Fame.
Acknowledge me.
man, you took me back. This is why this show was so important, and this is why I am personally validating and vouching for this show. If you are anybody in media, sports, professional wrestling, anything, you need to be on In or Out Sports Debate with my man Drew Willingham, because this has got to be one of the most fun things I've ever done in a long time.
Ladies and gentlemen, that right there is the In or Out Sports Debates Vault of Fame, which you can find on the SIRTOBA Media platforms here for the audio channels for Spotify, Google Podcast, Anchor.fm, iTunes, Anchor.fm, and more. And you can see all this as well on these sites as well, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, as well as the latest that I know I need to update at SIRTOBA.com. This is where the struggle is real to be awesome. You can check out Kyle Nash here on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, as well as at these links listed below if you would like to stay updated with Kyle's current content, which is great. Definitely make sure you check him out here for the latest in the world of sports. And, of course, if you want to throw a little bit of Willie Bucks action at the Cash App, cash.app /$DWillie87 if you feel like a donation is deserved for this program. Guys, we've gone through the first round so far on this show. We've still got more great topics ahead. And for round two, for entertainment purposes, I know that some of you are watching this probably based on this topic right here because you see it below. For round two, let's go ahead and see what we got in store for that round.
Round 2.
And here for round two, a cage match between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg would be must-see TV. How do you feel about this one, Kyle Nash? Do you agree with this statement at hand? Are you in or are you out on this one?
Hold on. My sports personality is still showing. I have to go to my IT personality real quick. Give me a second.
Yes.
Well, Drew, I am out. Listen, at the end of the day, I know people have gotten really excited about YouTube personalities boxing each other, and apparently Logan Paul's a celebrity now for something other than being a total scumbag with his brother on YouTube. Hashtag I get it. But at the end of the day, I don't want to watch like a larger man beat up on a nerdy dude. And oh, by the way, since you guys are basically making Elon Musk out to be a Bond villain because of what he's doing to Twitter, it's going to be like Thunderball beating up on that weak sidekick that James Bond might bring to the theater. You know, Thunderball is a movie that mommies and daddies used to watch when they were kids that was really bad, but featured a lot of poor underwater diving effects because they were really expensive. Anyways, that's an interesting shouts to my guy Demosthenes Euclid in the Hilarity by Default Assault podcast there, as we review things that are hilarious by default. Drew Willingham, the required viewing podcast is where it's at. I'm just saying. We got into movies. That's my punchline is this. This is how much I'm not watching this. But, you know, at the end of the day, I am going to check it out. Ironically, probably on Twitter to see who won the fight. So I'll give it that much credit. I don't know about must-see TV, but it's certainly an event that'll take place, and hopefully it'll end up being more than Screech boxing Joey Buttafuoco in celebrity boxing. There's a throwback for you.
Ouch.
So, anyways.
Ouch.
Sports mode back on.
Ouch. That hurt. That one hurt, Kyle Nash. That would hurt. Wow. But hey, I like the take. I love throwing on the glasses as another layer to this whole thing for your statement. But you know what? For the sake of debate, I'm going to disagree with you. I'm in. Kyle Nash, mother, father, and think about this situation right here. Think about the stats, okay? You got Mark Zuckerberg, 39 years old, versus a 51-year-old in shape Elon Musk, kind of. You got Mark Zuckerberg at 5'7". You got Elon Musk at 5'11". There's only a 4-foot-inch difference between the two. There's a little bit of a weight difference, as Mark Zuckerberg is 154 pounds and Elon Musk is 178 pounds. When it comes to net worth, Mark Zuckerberg has got $103 billion going up against a $236 billion net worth of Elon Musk, okay? They are fighting for bragging rights when it comes to, I may have less money than you, but I'm better than you in a fight, is basically what's happening here when it comes to Mark Zuckerberg versus Elon Musk. They should put up like $100 billion as an actual token of winnership here, and the person who loses has to pay. So if Elon Musk loses, that means Mark Zuckerberg is up there as far as the amount of money that he has over Elon Musk. Fight for the money in the bank. We just had the Money in the Bank pay-per-view this past weekend for WWE. It could be Money in the Bank in real life when it comes to Mark Zuckerberg versus Elon Musk. Nerd versus nerd. I'm wearing these glasses too. If Kyle Nash can do it, and I already do it every episode, it is nerd versus nerd. It is nerd time out here in these streets. Cage fighting. Oh, I am hyped up. SIRTOBA on this shirt. We are here. We are live for Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. I can't die. Now, back to this whole point. When it comes to the amount of children they have, he has got an army behind him, Elon Musk does, when it comes to 9 children. He is got the MMA future of what he could have. Doubt it. But I'm just saying that for the hype of the amount of kids that he has. But when you think about the stats I just laid out to you, Elon Musk on paper should win this fight. He should, because he's bigger, he's taller, he's got more size. But then you think about the scrappiness of the prime of Mark Zuckerberg, who should have a little bit more energy, a little bit more fight in him, a little bit more want $100 billion more to be up here at the top of the chain with Elon Musk. It is dollar versus dollar. It is Money in the Bank time in real life. Let's see this fight, Kyle Nash.
You know, I will do this to your credit, Drew Willingham. I am perfectly happy to acknowledge you because it's your WWE fanhood that taps into this. But tell me something, buddy. Of all the intellectual advantages that you're trying to claim Zuckerberg has, you do realize you are having the guy who was the one most responsible for the keyboard tough guy in the ring against a guy who's bigger than him. You get that, right? Like, I just, you know, that's the only place I'm at. Oh wait, sorry, I'm still doing a take on this topic. I need to. You realize he invented me, the keyboard tough guy, right? Like, no, man. I as for the army of children, sure, maybe he has enough kids to start a baseball team or something. I don't know. Up there with Phillip Rivers, it's a thing they do, I guess. But I don't know. Say, listen, unless they're swinging bags of money at each other in the fight. There's no triathlon here where there's a swimming contest where you try your best in the second round to swim like Scrooge McDuck. That doesn't matter. You know, Scrooge McDuck reference or Scrooge McDuck reference here on In and Out Sports Debate. I'm assuming that's a first, but what do I know?
Kyle Nash, I'm going to have a debate topic with you on what the name of this show is one day because there's an or in between in or out. Damn it. I'm bad at pronouncing. Or I say it's a whole thing. I know, but I would like to go to that burger spot at some point too because I hear the In and Out, the burger place, is awesome, but we don't have any here in Virginia.
I hear it's overrated.
Really?
Yeah,
man. Well, we're gonna have to get somebody on the show.
We'll have to find out if we're in or out on In and Out at some point.
We're going to have to take a road trip at some point. All of us that have not gone to this burger place, we're going to have to do it, do a survey and put it together. But ladies and gentlemen, let us know here in the comments, do you think Mr. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Mark Zuckerberg versus karate and taekwondo expert Elon Musk can actually happen in a cage match when it comes to this graphic right here? Do you think this is actually going to happen between the two of you, and should it be must-see TV? Let us know here in the comments. Guys, we've gone through 2 great rounds so far on this show. Before we go any further, let's go ahead and take a small commercial break, and we'll be back on the other side in just a few minutes.
SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
This episode of the In or Out Sports Debate is brought to you by Peanut Butter and Jealous. When you're feeling a little blue based on what others are doing around you, spread a little peanut butter and jealous on your sandwich to make yourself feel whole again. And now a word from a non-accredited sponsor.
Howdy, everybody. This here's Super Kick Samson here to tell you about my spicy fried chickens. You hungry? Come on down to my store, get yourself a country plate of some spicy fried chickens. A couple sides, some sweet iced tea to go along with it, and you come on out feeling a lot better than you came on in. Get yourself some spicy fried chicken. Got some questions? Call 1-800-FRIED-CHIMPKIN. Again, 1-800-CHIMPKIN. That's 1-800-244-6546. Again, that is 1-800-244-6546. You hungry? Call now.
SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from those shenanigans as we are going to go continue on with this show. Before we do, we have some breaking news. And that breaking news is this. Tomorrow's Independence Day special, the Sports Senseis Unleashed episode 27, tomorrow at 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time. It is time to celebrate independence, fireworks, and the Senseis tomorrow at 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time on Snowman Multimedia. We are back, though, for the In or Out Sports Debates episode 93 with the legend Kyle Nash, as we have got 3 more rounds to go through for this show. Some great more times ahead as we have a basketball topic for round 3. Let's go ahead and see what we got in store for that one, Kyle.
Round 3.
And here for round 3, the LA Lakers will become a super team next season with the addition of Gabe Vincent. Kyle, how do you feel about this one at hand? Do you agree with the statement? Are you in or are you out on this one?
Well, you know, I'm going to have to cite my size here and go straight fat kid in dodgeball. I am out.
Whoo!
Now, don't get it twisted. Gabe Vincent, rather, being added to this squad along with all the guys they managed to keep, even after all the disarray that would have taken place in their salary cap with the whole Westbrook experiment blowing up such that it was, is definitely a good thing. I feel comfortable about the people coming to that proverbial 4th of July barbecue as Samson is handing the Senseis some fried chicken tomorrow on the Sports Sensei show. It'll be a great thing. I want some chickens, Drew. Don't laugh at me. Anyway, at the end of the day, though, here's the thing. For a super team, you really need more than 2 stars and arguably more than 2 superstars. And listen, much like the Senseis, there's only 2 stars on that show, and we both know who they are. One is injury prone, one is old and still way better than either Drew or the Snowman think he is in the form of LeBron James. But I went there. But the super team, no. I will grant this. They did a lot to keep themselves relevant in the West. And possibly even at this point, unless we see some more moves, there's still plenty of offseason going on. I see the opportunity in the right situation on paper. Granted, it's a long old season. You never know what happens. But on paper right now today, I think the Lakers are the ones that are most prepared to battle the Nuggets and actually win a game or 2 against them, were we to start a playoff scenario with these rosters such as we know them and all that. And again, there's no reason to believe that would happen this time, you know, in the upcoming season when the playoffs begin. You know, Anthony Davis has had 2 healthy stints in the playoffs. One of them was a bubble championship. The other was probably one of the more underappreciated playoff performances, not only of this year, but in some time. So, I mean, you know, definitely props to their top 2 guys. You need me more than 2 guys in my mind to be a super team. I would argue that I would have questions as to whether to call the Nuggets a super team. They're just deep, you know. So, I'm out on the super team title in and of itself, but I think they're a force in the West, such that the West is, Drew Willingham.
As much as I want to debate this topic for being against what Kyle is saying, I'm going to have to piggyback on some things, but also add to some things with this as well. I'm out on this as well. And, when it comes to this team, of course, Kyle had to go there with the whole LeBron bashing stuff, okay? Kyle had to bring that up, and I'm sure somebody's probably going to say something about it in the comments, too. Ooh, you got him, or something like that. I don't know, but we'll find out here shortly after this round, okay? Because you know what? When it comes to this, will they become a super team because of the addition of Gabe Vincent? No! And for a lot of the reasons that Kyle Nash said. Was he a great piece to the Miami Heat? Yes. Will he be a complimentary piece to the LA Lakers? Yes. But just like Kyle said, there's not enough big-time pieces around the team in order to make them a super team. You got to have at least the big three pretty much because it's been historically proven in NBA basketball. Big three camaraderies when it comes to basketball. Because it didn't all start with the big three in Boston back in the day because they've been forming big teams over the years. Maybe some names weren't as big as the others, but that's besides the point. We've been seeing big three teams for quite some time. Like LeBron had to form one in Cleveland. He's had to form in the past with other teams as well. And other teams have had to do it in order to stay relevant. It wasn't just Kobe and Shaq that got the titles for the LA Lakers back in the day. They had some formidable names around them like Rick Fox and other team players as well that would help them get those championships and go on that three-peat together. So when I think about this right here, Gabe Vincent is a complimentary piece, but it's not like they brought in, any like Porzingis or somebody like that to help them out. You brought in like Porzingis, then maybe you would have like a big three there. And maybe I could say that you would have like an actual super team based on that. But when I think about the addition of Gabe Vincent, it definitely is a big upgrade, like Kyle said, over Westbrook, because Westbrook was absolute dumpster fire. Like if that was the actual, like if people were to ask me to describe what an actual dumpster pelican is, because I've been saying that a lot lately, I would say, look at Russell Westbrook for the past few years and how he's played. That is how you play like a dumpster pelican. Very terrible and not very good and just you don't want to watch it. So brick after brick after brick, the whole Westbrook thing was real, but you won't get that from Gabe Vincent. You're going to get a lot more consistency. He did stay healthy for the majority of the season. And the thing is that NBA free agency is just kicking up. It's not over yet. There's still some other pieces out there that they can bring in. There's still some other moves. You got some trades that you could possibly make. I don't see them getting a big trade move this year, but I think that they're going to be making some more moves with an NBA free agency to where they're not going to be a quiet team this offseason. And they even haven't at this point. They have not been quiet. They've been making moves because they realize that this year is most likely their last chance to make a run with LeBron. And if they don't make a run with him, they're going to lose him the next offseason.
No, that's a fine take too. I'll put it this way. By the way, if we're going to talk about super teams, your boy Jordan was technically the first super team if we want to get down to brass tacks, as formed by Jerry Kramer. So, I mean, that's but no one wants to talk about that, even though you want to claim that. What was the super team in Cleveland? I don't know. Are you talking about the one where two of the guys were hurt during it? Anyways.
I'm talking about when, like on paper, when they put it together, when they brought in Kevin Love, LeBron had signed, then you got Kyrie. Those were technically the big three of that era that went to 4 straight championship run, like finals, got one championship together. But yeah, they did stay hurt a lot. But at the same time, that was technically their big three in Cleveland.
Okay, I just, if we're going to put technicalities out there, Jordan had more than one. By the way, the way that Paul Gasol gets dissed by Laker fans in general who are like, oh, look, Kobe. I'm like, bruh, you're just going to pretend he's not there? I mean, you won Shaq, but dang. Anyways, we're punchlines list. No, super teams. I don't feel comfortable today calling anybody a super team, right? Like if the Heat managed to get Dame Lillard, I could be convinced that Jimmy Butler, Dame, and Bam Adebayo are on the doorstep, but there's not enough depth either. Like at the end of the day, you bring up Boston, they had Ray Allen. Sure, he's 167 years old, but that was one of the pieces, right? The Heatles, such as they were, had an aging, although it would seem like Rip Van Winkle because he was still playing really nice, Shane Battier, right? Mm-hmm. Those were things that were in play. Shaq in Miami with Dwayne Wade, had Alonzo Mourning as a backup. That kind of depth is also a requirement. So that's why I say, even if the Heat get Dame Lillard, I'm not prepared to call them a super team either. The close, like that would be more like a Brooklyn Nets than a true super team, a failed experiment that if you really knew what was going on, you would see right through it, just like I did with Danny Thompson on Beyond the Buzzer. Bing! But you got to work on the bing when you dropped Team MBS earlier.
I got to practice that.
You know, I'll get in or out correct, and you'll get the bing, and everybody will win. It'll be great.
We will definitely do that before the next time we get up on here, because I do need to get better at that bing. Because you got it like perfect. I did it, but it doesn't sound as good as yours. You got it down. I got to practice. So the next time I'm shower singing. The next time I'm shower singing, I'll be practicing my bing, because I need to get on Kyle Nash level.
Yes, make sure your Bing is better than some crappy search engine. Anyways.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, sorry. Should I have these for that? That was IT humor. My bad. It's better than a bad service engine. There you go.
Now, I have a question for you based on your take with your rebuttal to mine. If Ray Allen was 167 years old when he was with the Boston Celtics, how old was he when he was with the Miami Heat after that?
257.
He definitely was old, especially when you think about when he filmed He Got Game with Denzel Washington, how long ago that was. And then he's in the NBA Finals, seemed like 20 years later. I'm like, how long is this guy going to keep playing?
How about Udonis Haslem being part of this team with Spoelstra? That's crazy. I mean, like, I see the salt and pepper in his beard, and I'm thinking there's more salt and pepper here than any 90s album I've heard. Anyways, I know that joke was forced, but I had to kind of push it.
You pushed it real good, because we are here at this moment in this show where we have now gone through 3 great rounds, you guys out here. Let us know here in the comments how you feel about this current topic that we have gone through when it comes to the LA Lakers. Will they become a super team with the addition of Gabe Vincent? We're going to go ahead and go into the midway show comments and see what you guys have been saying so far up to this point. We'll see you on the other side. Gotta love how just about all the music, I think on this show now, all the music on here is homegrown. So it is definitely a pretty cool feeling when you know that pretty much the entirety of the show is organic. Like there's nothing borrowed. Can't say that for all of my projects, but for this one, my number one, that's number one. It didn't sound right, but hey, it's all organic.
I'm always bringing my air guitar. I'm just saying.
I see you in the background doing it too. I was like, Kyle Nash is getting down over there on the guitars, but I love it. But guys, let us know what you got so far in the comments. Looks like our guys, Ike doesn't give a fuck, is in the building. Saying, what's up, my dudes? He is here watching it along with Mickey Delaney. What's up, Mick? Thank you for checking us out here on Facebook. Says, hi, Drew. Hi, Kyle. You both please stay in your lane. Comment Cop is here.
That's what I want to hear from the comment cop. I feel safer already, Drew Willingham.
He is binging the authority of the law out here in the comments.
Sorry.
Thanks, Mick. We appreciate you. As Ike shouts, episode 93. And then he comes back with what our first topic was about. The comms will receive a 46% vote. Danny stays and team will continue to decimate.
Mickey.
Wow. Wow. Ike, I think you deserve this.
Stay off the weed.
You think that Danny's going to stay and be in charge? I mean, for this past season, he wasn't even in the office. I mean, on paper, he was the owner, but he wasn't even allowed in the building. So how do you think he stays and the team will continue to decimate? Damn! There's not much else I can say when it comes to this one right here. That's pretty wild, Ike. That's pretty wild. Mick was telling me to slow my roll, I guess, because I was getting amped up about that cage match. I got really amped up about that cage match.
You were up to, I think I got you sparked because the glasses and our our IT modulation was working on you, baby.
Yeah, because Kyle and I have a background within the IT field, so definitely when it comes to that, I got a little amped up, and I even had to say to myself, I think I even said it out loud, I can't die, and I had to calm down. So yeah, so we're still here. So I'm not going back to where I once was, keeling over on the show. We cannot have that happen again. Peanut Butter and Jealous is fire, says Ike. Well, that's the truest statement you have said so far, except for What's Up, My Dudes in episode 93. But you kind of lost me with that commies comment there, Ike. It was that you deserve to be told to stay in your lane for that one by Mick. Mick, I'm surprised you haven't commented anything about it yet. I'm waiting to see it. I am waiting to see what Mick is going to say to Ike about this. I cannot get over this comment right here. The 46% vote, and Danny stays with the team, and the team will continue to decimate. Mick, get Ike now, please. Also, Elon Musk would get his ass kicked.
I mean, only because it's closer to like the kicking height.
Yeah. Hey, but at the same time, Elon Musk has got 2 different certifications opposed to Mark Zuckerberg's. Mark Zuckerberg's only got Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Elon Musk, in his extra time on this earth, this 12 extra years he's been on this earth, he is not only a karate expert, but he is a taekwondo and judo expert. He has got 3 certifications to Mark Zuckerberg's 1. He has spent an average of 6 years per thing to get extra certified to be ready. And he is ready for Mark Zuckerberg. Will arthritis be ready for Elon Musk? That's the question.
No, she ain't wrong there. See, now I got too real too fast. That escalated too quickly.
Lakers will be champs as a result of signing Vincent, says Ike doesn't give a fuck.
I mean, if the Nuggets have injury problems, you've seen how a team can be altered and supplanted just in these past playoffs with what happened to Drew Willingham's Milwaukee Bucks. So there you go.
Absolutely. Hey, not my Milwaukee Bucks. I like the Heat. I'm a fan of the Heat.
That's true.
But hey, I will pull for Giannis though. Giannis is the man. He's tops of the league, but they did get thumped early. I did not see that happening for Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "I go to timeout," says Mick. This is I see his response. He told him, and Ike, get some more weed.
That's rare advice from a cop. Take it.
And Ike says Westbrook was trash.
Oh, see, so the weed is working. What a fine.
And still is. This is where he had too much to hit when he says LeBron is the greatest
the
of
weed
all
is
time.
working. He needs to pass it to you and the sensei there, Chief. By the way, shouts to the snowman, who is the master.
He's going to come back with this.
You should know your role and shut your mouth.
Ike, you need to know it because you are so far-fetched at this moment. You are trying to say that LeBron is the greatest of all time. Come on, Bishop Bullwinkle.
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no, no, to the no, no.
And in many cases,
You can't handle the truth.
and there it shall set you free.
Yeah, especially if you get swept in the first round of the playoffs more than once. What?
And then after they laugh in your face, this guy will say this.
I am the game, and I am that damn good.
I don't know. I listen. I was just wanting to get Bullwinkle to come up, and then you got on fire. Producer extraordinaire with the time. I got nothing.
You got to have fun out here in these streets, Kyle Nash. It is the only way that you can truly survive.
Amen.
Ike comes back with Drew and Snowman hate on Braun too much. Kyle, Are you in or are you out on this impromptu statement right here?
Well, considering the fact that in the damn Instagram story to this episode, which didn't even have directly LeBron James as a topic, and he was a crying, what is that, an emoji, I guess? I am in. Y'all fools need to take a breath. LeBron's 547 years old and might play with his son, and y'all still pissed. Come on.
Woo! Well, you know what? I have to disagree with this one. I'm out. I'm out because there's too much love for LeBron James. You have to balance the scales out here. You have to have haters in order to influence the lovers. That is why we may just supposedly hate on him a little bit too much.
Too much love. What, you going to go after Christmas next? What's up?
That was good, Kyle Nash. You got too much love. You're going to go after Christmas.
Got him.
The Grinch had a point, man. The Grinch had a great point. I'm telling you. He had a great point.
What?
I'm serious. He had a great point.
What?
Can't say it enough. The Grinch had a solid point.
What?
I just had to there. Kyle Nash set it up beautifully.
I mean, listen, no, I see where Stone Cold's coming from, but you do realize, unlike Thanos, the Grinch ended up being a flip-flopper. Let's be real.
Like I said on episode 92, and I'm going to say it on episode 93. Ike, you appeal to me like someone who, in a situation like this, would react like this Karen did.
You're tripping about the whole situation. Let me get my husband on the line.
Okay.
B21, B25.
B25. I got one gun.
Hey, that's got to be Mick behind you. The only thing is, Mick, you let him go. Okay? You should have read the Miranda rights, did it all right, so that way Ike doesn't keep it up.
I mean, to me, he smoked the weed just like the comment cop suggested. Everything was. Yeah, by the way, in that clip, and maybe I said this before, I don't remember, but that cop has something in common with Ike. It is apparent he doesn't give a fuck because, like, when the lady drives off, he's just like, okay, and goes to the car and gets to work. At the very least, I have to admire the spirit to do what needs to be done.
And Mick dropped the hammer on you, Kyle.
Oh?
Kyle, stay in your lane. Drew Willingham and Brian Snow are awesome.
Oh, wait. You stay in your lane, sir. I'm going to have to battle those charges. I never questioned the awesome of the sports senseis. You better get right.
There's so many situations when it comes to people attacking others. Mick, give Kyle a break. He wasn't like laying in like Ike does. If anything, you have to tell Ike.
Would you please shut the hell up?
He deserves it in this situation, but not Mick. Mick, I feel like there was some confusion. Don't go off on Kyle Nash. Kyle Nash doesn't deserve to be told stay in your lane, but Ike definitely does. So, and one last
to be checked when I need it because I'm not above the law, but on that particular point of me respecting the awesome of the sports senseis, no, sir, I will not abide this charge.
Breaking the law, boom, boom, breaking the law. And he says, okay, I'm sorry, Kyle Nash. But before we even got to this section, before all that just happened, he says, Ike, you should know your role, and Ike, you are the GOAT. Now, Mick, this is between me, you, Kyle Nash, and Ike at this moment, okay? I agree with you on knowing the role. You are 100% correct on that, but this is like a 50-50, like one end of it kind of definitely does not coincide with the other. How is Ike the greatest of all time? Is he the greatest of all time at being toxic or something? Or is he the greatest?
I can field this, okay? It's like what Batman would say about the Joker or what Superman would say about Lex Luthor. Man, bleep that guy. I mean,
Yeah, I know which bleep you were going with, and I really want to say what that bleeping word is, but we can't right now because we are practicing for higher things to achieve out here in these streets. But guys, thank you so much for the comments and being part of the show and being up to date with these comments, even if you are being a hater and a keyboard warrior like Ike sometimes is out here in these streets. But you can say the same thing about me and my LeBron-esque comments. So we can combat back and forth for the fun of the game out here on this show. But with that being said, we do have 2 more great topics ahead, and especially this by the number segment for round 4. Let's go ahead and see what we have for this one for this episode.
Round 4.
And here with round 4, Dwight Freeney is the greatest athlete to ever wear the number 93 in all of sports history. Kyle, how do you feel about this topic at hand? Do you agree with it? Are you in or are you out on this one?
There's not going to be a lot of statements I make that coincide against the greatness that is Dwight Freeney, but I'm out. The truth is there's a bunch of 93s out there that could be considered. You could go Tony Randall. You could go Javon Curse. You can go a lot of directions, my friend. But me, I opted for a Hall of Famer I just talked to sometime around this time last year, newly inducted Patriot, and the guy that helped create your precious Thomas Edward Patrick Bieber Brady before he was an actual great quarterback, Richard Seymour, former defensive lineman for the Patriots, who was then excommunicated unceremoniously, like many defensive players were, by one Bill Belichick. Now, for me, that team was all defense first and foremost in the early days of the Brady dynasties, such as they were for the short time that they were, and then ended up being extended on in a second time after Brady was eliminated from the playoffs several times in an early span, yet we hate on LeBron James for the same thing. The punchline is this. How did I fit that in there? The punchline is this. One can make an argument that he may not have been the best defensive player on his team. I don't know if that's true or not. But I will say, as number 93s go, there's a lot of greatness, and it gets to the place where I need tiebreakers. And that tiebreaker happens to be what he meant to a great organization and him being in the Pro Football Hall of Fame for that contribution in question.
That's a tough one, Kyle Nash. That is a tough one. Because there's ways you can go against this statement right here. And Richard Seymour, I did some wordplay with the last episode, because with the last episode, I used Richard Seymour in there for 92 because he wore 92 when he was with the Raiders. Right. Just to see who's paying attention and who's ready as historians out here of this game. Kyle Nash.
I got corrected for the same shenanigans. It's good.
Yeah. Kyle Nash did it right here with the same thing. Basically, turned the tables 1 week later on his boy right here. But when it comes to this statement right here, and I have purposely done some topics with this by the number segment just so we can all be out and then give different people. Like I will pick people like Albert Hainsworth or something and be so far off just so we can disagree with it, but then have 2 different people. For the first time in quite some time, I'm actually going to go in with the number. And Kyle Nash, the reason why I'm in, Richard Seymour did great things with the Patriots, right? And I can't take away what you said, but that team and those teams that were successful were more system-built teams. Except for Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II, there wasn't much like big stars, except Richard Seymour was a very big force on the defensive side of the football. I'll give you that. But he wasn't like the 1A on the defense like Tom Brady was on the offensive side, in my opinion. When I think about the Colts run, and I think about Peyton Manning 1A of the offense, and then Dwight Freeney was 1A of the defense for several years. And it didn't stop there, because when he left Indianapolis, he went to the Chargers for a couple seasons and was pretty impactful. Went to the Arizona Cardinals and had an okay year, but then went to the Atlanta Falcons the year that they went to the Super Bowl, right? And they had that big lead over the Patriots. And then they got decimated in the other part of the game where the Patriots came back, or the Falcons gave up, or whatever you want to call it. Dwight Freeney at that age, at that point in his career in 2016, at a position that he played a defensive end and outside linebacker at the age that he was at that point, 36 years old. It's a pretty physical position on that defensive side of the ball to be playing at 36 years old. It's a pretty physical position to not only go from a team that you were with for the majority of your career and have success on multiple teams. Richard Seymour, once he left New England, his success wasn't quite like he had in New England. He was more system-based. He wasn't as big a time of a player when he went to Oakland and he went to the Raiders. He still had high-caliber value for the name and what he had achieved previously, but did he go back to another Super Bowl? Did he go deep into the playoffs? Was he a spark that helped that team get to the hype? Dwight Freeney was part of that spark that helped get the Falcons to that 2016 Super Bowl on the defensive side, because their offense was doing okay with Matt Ryan and stuff, with Tony Gonzalez and all that stuff in the years leading up to that. But their defense was not what they were until Dwight Freeney got there. And for that impact alone at age 36, the fact that he continued to try to play on the following year with the Seattle Seahawks and the Detroit Lions, building on the success of what he had built up previously led up to that, I have to give it to him. It's the greatest at 93 because he is a Super Bowl champion, because he is a 3-time first-team All-Pro, because he is a 7-time Pro Bowler, and he was the NFL sacks leader. And at the position that he played, it's kind of hard to be a sack leader when it comes to being an outside linebacker, because he was an outside linebacker at that point. He hadn't moved positions yet. So when I put all that in perspective, I have to give Dwight Freeney the best at number 93, Kyle Nash.
Be careful what you say about systems, though, here, Drew Willingham, because the system, such that it was in New England when Richard Seymour was playing, such that he wasn't designed for defensive ends to get stats, and yet he still got them. That's really kind of the point. And this is taking nothing away from Dwight Freeney, which, by the way, you talk about 1-1A. Let's not act like Dwight Freeney played with a bunch of bums. Bob Sanders, when he was on the field, was a bad mamma jamma at 5'10" as a safety, and we're going to act like Robert Mathis didn't exist. Okay, no, we're not. I know you're not. But it wasn't like the Colts had a bunch of bums on defense either. And listen, a big reason that that Peyton Williams Manning. What is this? Going all SpongeBob SquarePants. Hey, Patrick, are you a quarterback? No. No, but when Peyton Williams Manning won his Super Bowl, they had a rough start on offense, and that defense holding, granted, an albeit weak Chicago Bears team that had no business in that game with Rex Grossman at quarterback. A great defense, albeit, but yeah, at the end of the day, there's a reason why the scoring is most famously done by one of the best returners of all time for the Bears, and basically nothing else. So yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, again, and this is just me explaining why I picked Richard Seymour. I'm not mad at you picking Dwight Freeney. I think it's a fine pick. There's a lot of 93s that have Bill Murray status. Never the top guy at his craft, but always consistently pretty darn high. And listen, I get that Dwight Freeney was doing his Jared Allen impression. The only difference was he actually happened to have an alleged MVP at quarterback on his team, along with a really good set of skill players on offense to help carry him to a championship. Name me a guy that actually performed well on offense with the Raiders while Richard Seymour was there.
But based on what I said, a lot of why I gave him the best 93 was during his time at Indianapolis and the achievements he made there. But the selling factor that I threw at the end, Kyle Nash, was what he did at age 36 with the Falcons and helped lifting them to that Super Bowl berth. Regardless if they lost the way they did, they still got.
Yeah, I'm not even saying.
And that's why what he did at the end of his career. Richard Seymour didn't do that. And if you had Dwight, I'm telling you, if you put Dwight Freeney on the Patriots and you took Richard Seymour off, Dwight Freeney would have not only got those 3 Super Bowls, but would have stood out a little bit more than Richard Seymour did. I feel like.
I don't know, not with that offense as such as it was with the Raiders back then, buddy. Like that's Richard Seymour was definitely diamond in the rough status. And listen, I'm taking nothing away from Vince Wilfork. That's a whole conversation about great defensive tackles. That's another episode. I'm not debating Dwight Freeney is a bad choice. Hell, he's certainly in the top 3 I had in the conversation with myself. But helping a defense that essentially set to create the gilded phenomenon of Thomas Edward Patrick Bieber Brady deserves some hype.
Yeah, I mean, I say it's tough. It's really tough to even go back and forth with these two because of how storied their careers were. Yeah, Richard Seymour did get more Super Bowls than Dwight Freeney, but I just can't get over that age 36 season and the impact that he made with the Atlanta Falcons. I have to give him the edge on that one, just in my personal opinion. But it's tough with going against Richard Seymour. I have to lay it out there. It's not like I'm standing up here saying that Dwight Freeney is undoubtedly number one. No, it's tough. And for the sake of a debate show, I have to combat with you, Kyle Nash. And for that, Dwight Freeney and Richard Seymour are like 1A, 1B, and it's tough for us to both say who's 1A and who's 1B. It's tough on this one.
We had great sparring here, certainly better than anything done by a pair of undersized millionaires. I'm willing to... At the end of the day, I do hope I'm having a conversation with Dwight Freeney at his induction.
That would be sweet. That would be sweet. So you said you will or you have?
I would love to. But...
You would love to. Okay, I'm about to say, okay, cool. So, and I hope you get that opportunity too, because then you could tell them about what we talked about in episode 93 and throw like a short 10-second clip in there. Be like, we fought for it. We fought for it. We're going to see what you think. If you'd like to check out episode 93, let us know out here in these comments if you do end up seeing this show, and let us know, is Kyle right? Am I right? Who's wrong? If you dare, we appreciate you for checking out this episode. And for those of you watching currently live, thank you as well. As we've gone through 4 great rounds on this show, we've got one more great round to go to. But before we do that, we're going to take one last commercial break. We'll see you again on the other side.
SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
This episode of the In or Out Sports Debate is brought to you by Peanut Butter and Jealous. When you're feeling a little blue based on what others are doing around you, spread a little peanut butter and jealous on your sandwich to make yourself feel whole again.
And now a word from a non-accredited sponsor.
Howdy, everybody. This here's Super Kick Samson here to tell you about my spicy fried chickens. You hungry? Come on down to my store, get yourself a country plate of some spicy fried chickens. A couple sides, some sweet iced tea to go along with it, and you come on out feeling a lot better than you came on in. Get yourself some spicy fried chicken. Got some questions? Call 1-800-FRIED-CHIMPKIN. Again, 1-800-CHIMPKIN. That's 1-800-244-6546. Again, that is 1-800-244-6546. You hungry? Call now.
SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the In or Out Sports Debate, episode 93. Myself and Kyle Nash, as we are back for episode 93 again. I can't say it enough. This number is great as we are just getting closer to episode 100. We're almost there, Kyle. We will see you episode 100 at some point this year. I can guarantee you that. Other than that, we have got one more great round ahead. And that is the final round of this show. Let's see what we got in store for this round for the finality of the show.
Final round.
And more Commanders action as Sam Howell will shine as QB1 for the Washington Commanders during the 2023 NFL season. How do you feel about this one, Kyle? Do you agree with the statement at hand? Are you in or are you out on this one?
Boy, easily, Drew Willingham, the toughest question I've had to answer on the In or Out Sports Debate Show in my 5 appearances. No, this one is not easy, but I'm still going to go with my gut instincts. I am out. Now, I'll grant you the taste in my mouth has a lot to do with his time in the ACC. First of all, the ACC being the single overrated college football conference, basically of the, we'll call it 2010s and early 2020s, such as they are so far. Yeah, so I'm saying for about the past 15 or so years. What I'm getting at is this, though. Sam Howell has been supplanted in the college ranks and really didn't impress me all that much. Kenny Pickett was a better quarterback. I don't even have to bring up T-Law, who's now reigning pain down in Jacksonville, if you trust the Duval fans such as they are on any of that. And somehow I'm supposed to believe he's supposed to ascend and be the next great thing and be worthy of taking Taylor Heineke's job, such that he was so unceremoniously excommunicated to probably replace Desmond Ridder this time next year in Atlanta, who will probably think they're good because they win a mediocre NFC South. Now, am I stalling with all that analysis? You bet that entire rear end, because I still don't know how I feel about it because of one factor and one factor alone. And hopefully that's the guy who I hope is the future head coach of your Washington Commanders, Willingham, such as they are. And that is one Eric Bieniemy. Listen, this guy has brought quarterbacks to life and offenses to be explosive in his time. But Kyle, it was only with Patrick LeVon Mahomes. Understand something. That Chad Henne came in out of nowhere and helped finish off a game where Patrick LeVon Mahomes II in the playoffs met injury in a game that the Chiefs only won by 7 over it was always the Jacksonville Jaguars. What happened?
Where did your audio go? All right, now it looks like you're back now.
Okay, that was weird. Anyway, my take is so controversial about Eric Bieniemy and Patrick LeVon Mahomes II that apparently the system is trying to. It can't handle the truth.
And based on what Kyle's saying, I have to give it to him.
You can't handle the truth.
But yeah, if Sam Howell does shine, and I am proving wrong, which I am leaving on the table, you saw my hesitation, it would be because of one Eric Bieniemy.
Kyle, the take on Eric Bieniemy I like, and I don't doubt your pick for potential future head coach at some point, whether it's interim this season or beyond. But at the same time, I disagree with what you're saying when it comes to Sam Howell, and I've got to go in. It's tough to go against Kyle with certain things that he said, especially when it comes to the whole Eric Bieniemy take, because I feel like that is who's destined to be this new head coach under the new ownership regime that we're going to see here in a little bit. They're not going to make any major changes this season. It looks like from what I've read and stuff like that and what I've seen on other shows, the new ownership's going to let it play out for a little bit and kind of give everybody a chance to prove their worth. And that means very good things for the whole as an organization. But I feel like Riverboat Ron's time is just about over here in DC, just like what Kyle was saying, and Eric Bieniemy has that chance. I don't think it's going to be Sam Howell that's going to be the reason why. I think it's going to be something along the lines of they're going to have be just short of the playoffs again, or they're going to get to the playoffs and get embarrassed in that game or whatnot, in the first round game or whatnot. Who knows? That could be why Riverboat Ron gets his early exit or whatnot this season or during the offseason. But when it comes to Sam Howell, the reason why I disagree with Kyle here, he did have 3 seasons in college, and in some cases, from what Kyle was saying, yeah, I guess you could say some things were mediocre, but his entirety of his college career, he played for 3 years, from 2019 to 2021. He had 92 touchdown passes, 23 interceptions. That's a pretty good ratio between those two there. It means he's careful with the ball and makes pretty decent decisions, in my opinion. He threw for 10,000 passing yards, had an overall rating of 164.2. Had a completion percentage of 63.8 throughout those 3 years. Completed 713 passes out of 1,100 attempts, pretty much. And then on the ground running, he had 1,000 rushing yards between the 3 seasons. The most came in his final year, which was 828. He really used his legs the last year he was there and got 11 touchdowns in that final season he was there, which was probably what sparked him going into the NFL draft. Even he played receiver in some plays, catching 2 touchdown passes, Kyle Nash, in some aspects. So you can move him around. You can do some trick plays. Sam Howell could have a receiving touchdown at some point in his career in the NFL if they play their cards right. And in the one game that he played last year in 2022 for the Washington Commanders, he is 1-0. He's undefeated. They won the game. Okay. So when I think about the fact that they won that game in the final game, and I think about the fact that he has an 83 rating in that one game as a rookie, he went 11 of 19, completion percentage of 57.9. It's not great. It's not great numbers. It's not like your boy Brock Purdy going in there throwing like he did. Sam Howell is not playing like Brock Purdy, but he plays safe with the football because, yeah, he did throw that 1 interception, but he did throw a touchdown as well. And he had an 83 rating. That's better than what Baker Mayfield does. Okay. So I know it's one game. And you can't, I know it's probably people are going to throw me hate saying, Drew, you're giving him way too much hype after only seeing him in one NFL game. But at least we've seen him play in an NFL game for one. At least we've seen some flashes of what could be the future when it comes to the positive plays that he was doing and the positive energy that he was giving the team. Because from the game that I watched, it looked like he was a pretty positive guy to be around. And the positive vibes. And that's what this organization needs. It all starts at the top when it comes to the quarterback position, when it comes to football. And me being a baseball fanatic that I am, I can tell you that it starts on the mound with the pitcher is what sets the tone for the game. So it's the same mother, father, and thing. If you have a good quarterback that's going to set the tone, he doesn't have to be the greatest of all time like Thomas Edward Patrick Brady II. But he does need to set the tone with the energy and how this team's ship will sail throughout the trajectory of a game, nonetheless the season, nonetheless the playoffs, and the chance to go towards that Super Bowl's Lombardi Trophy. Will that happen in 2023? Oh, hell no, it will not happen in 2023 as far as a Super Bowl. But we could see some positive shine from Sam Howell at QB1. We could. And for the sake of debate, I had to, because this is a team that I like to cover. This is a team that I like to watch on a regular basis, and I want to help bring some positive vibes to this man and his organization for what they've invested into him, which isn't even a whole lot. It's not like they've invested millions of dollars. If he can play safe and steer this ship in the right direction, they can invest that money in other places like they wanted them to do last year, when instead of getting Carson Wentz, they could have invested around Taylor Heineke and given him a real chance, because Heineke could be that quarterback in Atlanta with where he went there, because Desmond Riddler is not the case. I call him Riddler. I know it's Desmond Ritter, but I call him the Riddler.
Questions surrounding him. I like it.
Yeah. So when you think about all that, had they invested all that around Heineke last year, we might not have even had the opportunity to see Howell last year, and we might not have even had the opportunity to have this statement and discussion for today's show. So it worked out the way that it did. History is where it's at, and we are here talking about this today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I only have this one retort because I'm a mushroom cloud laying mother father. You said mother fathering so many times, I had to get that one in. But no, listen, I think the one thing too that I didn't mention, but it actually supports your argument and towards Eric Bieniemy being the reason for his success. You mentioned Brock Purdy. That's a pretty good point, in my opinion, that you match him up. But it's going to be they have a lot of material around him now. Does that offense look like the Niners offense in that it features a tight end and a fullback literally using check down pieces in a way that are actually prolific offensive pieces in the NFL period? No. Eric Bieniemy could do that if he had those pieces, but no, that's not this team. However, Robinson's back, had an amazing contribution after part of a season with him getting shot. Imagine what he's going to do with a whole offseason to prepare. Wow. Right? That receiver core is looking good. I see, their offensive line isn't what it used to be. If there's a weak point, unfortunately for Sam Howell, that's the case. but with the pieces they have, anything that's there to let Eric Bieniemy be creative. And to your point, if he's a facilitator, if they treat him like Brock Purdy, the reason why Brock Purdy was prolific is because he played safe. It's not like he's jetting the ball down the field like he's, Peyton Manning or something like that. No, it's not what happened here. There was no Jay Cutler sightings in San Francisco, okay? But I think you have the right idea that if they set the bar at Purdy, especially for a guy who wasn't drafted, Mr. Irrelevant, I think that's a good move. And if he can't even handle that, then much like the Packers need to with their starting quarterback, they should probably move off the starter.
Yeah, no, that's a great point there. When I think about the fact that Sam Howell's only 22 years old, he'll be turning 23 in September. He's still young.
Yeah.
And the fact that he is technically undefeated as a starter in the NFL right now. Okay. Hey, he is technically undefeated as a starter, Kyle Nash.
Hey, Bijan,
give him a chance.
Undefeated as a running back in Atlanta too. Am I right?
It's going to be interesting to see how it pans out for old Sammy here for the Commanders this season. I'm looking forward to seeing how it pans out. But, when I think about what could potentially happen when it comes to this man, he's had some hype in college and some things. Tyrone Montgomery Jr., the Legacy Maker Sports Network, gives a lot of praise on Sam Howell, and especially for what he did, even though you don't think based on his college career that he deserves it.
Yeah.
You're very critical of it, but I think that Sam Howell is going to do great throughout these first few games, and at some point we could see a celebration in the end zone like this.
I think I got my swagger back. Oh.
And Kyle Nash is probably going to be like one of those individuals like old Primetime who says this.
Ain't nobody care. Who cares? Ain't nobody care.
I love me some Primetime, man.
Yeah, and best wishes to Primetime as he is still recovering from everything that he's been going through to get back onto the field, with his health scares and stuff like that, ended up in the hospital.
Yeah.
It's real stuff. I mean, and with what I've experienced this year, Snowman with what he experienced last year, we were just talking about that recently on Sensei's, just about that. And the man's a fighter. Deion Sanders, Primetime's a fighter. He will be out there this season. But hopefully everything, keeps trending upward for him because he deserves a good chance at what he's got right here in Colorado.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, who is swag?
Guys, let us know here in the comments how you feel so far about these past two rounds we've gone through. It is almost time to discuss what you got as far as for your comments. But before we do that, it is time that we acknowledge again.
Acknowledge me.
The In or Out Sports Debate Vault of Fame, we acknowledge that Kyle Nash is now a 6-time Vault of Fame inductee for episode 93. Moves up into the leaderboard into third place by himself now with 6 appearances behind Rob Johnson in second place with 14 and Joey Raymond in first with 17 here on SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome. And I haven't even played this throughout the show. It is time that I do it right now.
SIRTOBA Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Shout out to Cole Johnson for that awesome 3D transition. As you can find SIRTOBA Media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and the latest at sirtoba.com for the struggle is real to be awesome. If you thought today's production was awesome and you feel like I deserve some Willie Bucks action, you can throw a donation here at cash.app/DWillie87 for a little donation if you feel like today's show was awesome. Guys, we are back for episode 93, and we have a little bit left to go through. Before we go into the final word, let's see what you have to say here at the Mayhem Culmination. For the comments from the fans, we got a few more to go over as we've got the Snowman here saying, hey, Snowman is here in the comments. Thank you, Snowman, for checking out the show. As Mickey says, hi, Brian.
Oh, the cop acknowledges. Carry on.
Yeah, the cop acknowledges. Good job for that. Drew, if you play with your words, do you also play with your food? Mick,
Only if it's food for thought.
I guess, Mick, it could be food for thought, but I mean, the last time I played with my food, I was probably like 3 or 4 years old. I can't remember last time I actually legitimately played with my food. Mick, that's a good question. Maybe we'll have an actual discussion about that on D Willie in the evening sometime. But for the In or Out Sports Debate, not today, as we have to continue to acknowledge our fans. Ryan McCarthy from previous episode 92 is in the house, says Drew and Kyle. Well, what's up, Ryan McCarthy? Thank you for being here and checking us out. It looks like you are checking us out on YouTube.
Shouts to the number man. Good to see him in the comments. I like it.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. I appreciate it, my man. Ike, will you please shut the hell up? Thank you. From the comment cop, says Mick. That is awesome. So, hey, Mick, that was definitely wild that you called him the GOAT. Now you're telling him to shut up. I'm baffled out here on this show between the two.
Batman even laughed at one of Joker's jokes, bro. It's a thing.
Ryan says, because I'm a hockey guy, I'm going to say Doug Gilmour for the greatest to ever wear number 93.
I'm mad.
I'm not mad at that either because, Doug Gilmour played for 20 years for 7 different teams. He also won the Canada Cup in 1987. He got a gold medal. So, that's not a bad pick. He was the 134th overall pick in the NHL draft in 1982 by the St. Louis Blues. And like I said previously, had a 20-year career. So, Ryan, that was a great pick for 93. When it comes to me and Kyle Nash, though, we're more football guys. And especially when you look at the storied careers between Richard Seymour and Dwight Freeney, and now you bring up Doug Gilmour, I think 93 was one of our toughest ones that we've had in quite some time as far as by the numbers.
Very tough. I mean, I had to leave Javon Curse off the list, bro. It's crazy.
I had to
off the list.
I'd forgotten all about Javon Curse till you brought him up. That's another great one that played 93. Wow, 93 definitely was a tough number to pick between all these guys to figure out who was the best. So
I mean, I could have gone True Villain and said Ndamukong Suh.
Come on, Kyle Nash, with him stepping on the leg and stuff like that.
I said True Villain.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I'm like, Kyle Nash, you talking about the guy? Come on,
I
man.
didn't pick it. I'm just saying the thought was there, man.
And then Ryan comes back with this: is mayonnaise a thirst quencher? You know what? In or out on this one? Let's have fun with this one again, Kyle Nash. Let's do it again. Is mayonnaise a thirst quencher? Are you in or mother, father, and out?
I am out. Listen, at the end of the day, unless I'm a college co-ed, and the quarterback is Will Levis, there is nothing that is quenching thirst involving mayonnaise. That's all I'm saying.
I'm even scared to give my take. I'm just going to say out. I'm not scared to give my take. I'm just fooling. But hey, no, Ryan McCarthy, mayonnaise is not a thirst quencher.
No.
Never ever would I think of you know sometimes when it's a thirst quencher though, and I never even thought about it as a kid, but it was random. Like I was running low on drinks in the fridge one day, had to go to the store to go grab some. Like I didn't have a bottle of water or anything, but I had a thing of applesauce in there. That is a thirst quencher right there. Applesauce is for real. You grab a spoon, you eat the applesauce, you're no longer thirsty for a short period of time. It gets you good until you have to go up to the store later that day and buy more drinks.
Now betting Drew Applesauce Willingham.
We had this kid we went to school with back in high school, and he loved to play basketball. We were always on the court messing around basketball court, and we used to call him Crisscross. Well, because he's good at crisscross stuff like that. Well, they used to call him Crisscross. I showed up one day and started calling Crisscross Applesauce, and from that point forward, we got Crisscross Applesauce, and now I'm like, you got the applesauce as my nickname. Just gonna have to get together, and maybe we're gonna have to form a tag team in WWE, just be called Team Applesauce. I don't know. Love applesauce, man.
Crisscross Applesauce tags the corner.
CCA. It sounds like some type of medical professional. You got CNAs and you got CCAs. Thanks, Ryan. That was definitely a good one to go off the rails with. I appreciate it. It looks like Ike approves of his pick as well for 93 with Doug. I like McCoffey's pick at 93.
I'm mad at it.
And that's not a typo. That is his nickname for the Snowman in the Morning crew, as he has the coffee with McCarthy, and they call him McCoffee. And I guess, Ike, you've been trolling them as well. Since you like to troll my show, you've been trolling them. There you go, Ike. Thank you for agreeing with that and actually having a somewhat of a logical pick so far. As that chicken, he loves that chimkin.
That chimkin. Yeah. Let me listen, I know where he's eating that chimkin, Drew. All right. His favorite song by the Red Hot Chili Peppers is Under the Bridge because he's such a troll. Thank you.
Well, Ike, I don't know where you're charging your phone up to be watching this Under the Bridge, but you really need to get it together out here in these streets. Will we see Sam Howell in a commercial with Super Kick Samson for 1-800-CHIMKIN?
Only if they make the playoffs.
Oh, that's great. Oh, man, that was great. Good job, Ryan, with that for the comparison of the two. David St. Dennis, David 3000 on YouTube, who just recently hit 1,000 subscribers. Congratulations to David 3000 again for that. I hope to catch you at some point as I continue to grind out here on these streets.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who's here? What up, fellas? Joseph Raymond, number 1 at the top of the Vault of Fame leaderboard. My man, as we bring up this again, as I can bring it up, not fast enough because I have too much things up here on this, but here it is. Joseph Raymond right here, top of the leaderboard, as he is in the comments. Thank you, Joey, for showing up and putting in your 2 cents. He says, sorry, I'm late. Well,
hey. Listen, the
better late than never.
The bronze medalist held it down while you were here, Joe. Glad you made it in, buddy.
Hey, Teddy, that's a great way to look at it. If Kyle's got the bronze medal, yeah, there you go. But you know what, Joseph? You keep fooling around out here, you might not have that gold for too much longer. But I'm just saying. Here we go. I was trying for my best Patrick Starfish impression. He loved that when you said that part. Yeah.
Give me the ball, SpongeBob.
And last but not least in the comments so far, it may not be a thirst quencher, but I do love mayo, says Joseph.
I mean, if you're going to put the chimkin on a sandwich.
But hang on, chimkin and mayo, though? You like chimkin and mayo, Kyle Nash?
No, on a chicken sandwich. Let's not act like I'm going over to Popeyes and saying, "Oh, where's the jar?" No. Let's be civilized here, fellas. I'm not trying to win the Duke Mayo Bowl simply because I don't want to get that dumped on my head. No, not about that life, okay?
But, for Q&A between the fans and myself, you will never, ever find this man eating anything with mayo. I absolutely despise it. I've never liked mayo, even when they tried to make me eat it when I was a kid. If your taste buds like it, shoes on your foot, go ahead and wear it. I love it for you. But I just cannot deal with the Dukes, whatever other brands there are out there. It's just not taste quenching to me at all.
Jukes the Dukes. That's what Drew Willingham does.
Exactly. So other than that, guys, we've had one great show with these comments. That was the final comment so far of the show. If you got anything else to say, of course, share it, whether this show is live, bring those comments in. We appreciate the interaction. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media accounts, and we can definitely, you might even have a topic suggestion for the next episode. Bring them on in, and we'll definitely work it on in there. Other than that, we got one more section to go to within this show, and that is the final word to see if we've got the finality of this show as far as what's on our mind. And for the final word, Kyle Nash, out of everything that we've discussed on this show, or just anything in sports, life in general, life entertainment in general, what is on your mind, man? This is your time for the final word.
You know, as somebody who's modeled his shows after different personalities that he watched, you know, while I don't want to say growing up, but kind of, you know, enjoying sports radio and then getting to that place where I realized I can do it. There's a few hosts I've come to either emulate and even in, over and above my enjoyment. And here's the thing. To watch Colin Cowherd try to debunk himself of pure Patriot fanhood for 20 years by bringing up this whole concept that Bill Belichick is on the hot seat is absolutely mother-fathering ridiculous. I have no idea. Well, I do. It's bad branding for you to be that big of a homer for the Patriots when they're not a big-name team with Thomas Patrick Edward Bieber Brady. And, bro, I know you were there dressing up as Thomas Patrick Edward Bieber Brady back when he had that haircut. You were there with Michelle Beatles and still at ESPN. I get it. Fine. That was your MO. But for you to reverse it this way and start trying to tell me that Belichick isn't all that great anymore, I'm not going to argue the mistakes made, right? This trash that you want to put out about Bill losing the marriage, no. Tom went to a stacked roster, and they were only a quarterback away. And oh, by the way, in the Super Bowl, everybody keeps forgetting that Patrick LaVon Mahomes II was missing 3 offensive linemen against a fantastic defensive front. Tom Brady didn't do anything in that game, but they were going to win the Super Bowl anyway. Period, point blank. Now, if you want to put anything on Bill Belichick as far as the way he's drafted and composed his team, cool. If you want to put him onto the bus for putting an offensive coordinator at defensive coordinator, cool. But the dude still won games with a guy named Bailey Zappi at quarterback. That should count for something. Maybe he's not on the hot seat this year. I don't think he should be. I think he should get one more full season, and going into the next season, that should be the one that decides his fate. Because at the end of the day, this guy's almost gotten to the playoffs twice in a COVID year, starting Cam Newton at quarterback at 500 billion years old, over and above all the other stuff going on in throughout the year last year, mentioning Bailey Zappi, and missed the playoffs by a game. It's not time for him to be on the hot seat quite yet, I'm afraid.
Kyle Nash, for your take right there, I'd have to say was a really good one. I would have to say for your final word for that, because there has been a little bit too much hate on old Billy. Old Billy began too much hate, and yeah, he's had some struggles since old TB12 left, and we can definitely see how Thomas Edward Patrick the Brady was. I think I said Thomas Edward Patrick the Brady. Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. Yeah, we saw how much of an impact TB12 made to that team, and it is tough to find a franchise quarterback out here. So with what he has done with Bailey Zappi and Mac and Chi, between the two, he's doing okay, and I don't think he deserves the hot seat quite yet. And for my final word, there's not much that I'm really upset about at this point on this show. I got all my stuff out throughout the other rounds. And the previous 2 shows, the first one with Kyle in 91 and then Ryan McCarthy last week, I got so animated that I had to take a nap after both shows. I don't want to do that again. So I've gotten animated throughout this show, but still recovering from the health setbacks and everything. I have to watch it out here. But for my final word, I'm going to go a little off subject. No sports, kind of just life. And just tell you that I love Skittles. I absolutely love Skittles. Skittles are amazing. And, we have something out here at the grocery store that you can combine Skittles with and take into your ordinary life. You see this bottle of water right here? Water is awesome. Water makes you feel great when you drink it on a regular basis. However, sometimes when you need a snack, you can combine water and this Skittles in a container, just like the Mio Energy. You can put Skittles into your water to where your water turns into this. And Skittles water is absolutely amazing. If you love Skittles and you love water, put the 2 together and have an ultimate tasty beverage. Skittles, I'm looking for a part-time job. If you would like somebody out here to talk about how awesome your Skittles in a small container with water mixed together actually is, hire me, and I will advertise your Skittles in a small bottle with water together makes awesomeness. Skittles water makes awesomeness. As I am here with the final word telling you the Skittles is mother-fathering awesome.
Taste the rainbow, mother-father. I don't know. You might be in trouble because Mott's might get pissed after the whole applesauce thing. They were trying to offer you a contract.
Hey, you don't have to tie yourself down to one thing, Kyle Nash. I'm open for business. Let me know. We need sponsors on this show. Help propel me up. And I'm starting it out with this little bottle of Skittles. Guys, this has been one great show for episode 93. I've had a lot of fun with Kyle Nash again. Thank you again for being here, brother, as we have now put chapter 93 of this show to bed. Let us know here in the comments, guys, how you feel. And we do actually have one more comment that I'll acknowledge before we get on out of here. And that is mayonnaise is the devil's condiment. Thank you, Ryan McCarthy, for that, as it definitely was a great comment right there.
And remember, all of you in those mean streets, mayonnaise is the devil's condiment. Until next time, class dismissed.
Absolutely. That's Kyle's great famous line at the end of the Student of the Game. Make sure you check him out on his platforms, as well as we discussed earlier, is his shows throughout the week. Definitely provide great content. For Kyle Nash here, I am Drew Willingham. There's only one thing I have left to tell you, and that is to stay safe out here in these streets.